Hi, I'm Brian Fitzpatrick, Certified Life Coach, and you are in the section for goal setting. Goal, in a simple way, is a aim for anything that you do. Goals are important because goals bring two principles into play. They bring into play process, and then they bring into play proficiency. So we said in the beginning that a goal is the aim or the object, the objective of something that you set out to do. So for every goal that you set, there has to be a process. But along the way, in you developing that process of achieving this goal, there also will come a proficiency. So in other words, there's something that you're going to have to get good at. Goal setting is simply the process that we go through to map out those things that we want to achieve. In life, everything that we do is set around goals. So, for example, you get up in the mornings and you have to be at work at a certain time. So you already have a process in place, whether you realize it or not, to make it to work on time. So there's a certain time you have to leave the house. There's a certain routine that you go through to get the kids ready maybe. And once you're in the car, there's a certain route that you take. And if you get detoured, you even know the back streets and the back roads that you can take to still get you to your destination. That's what it's all about. It's about the process. So there's one principle when I talk to people about setting goals that I try to drill into their heads. It is that momentum influences outcome. It is all about the momentum that you start off creating, the momentum that you can accelerate, and then the momentum that you are able to sustain. A lot of us, we start well, but then finishing well, not so much. So it's all about momentum. I like to use a very simple process. It is tried and true. It is called the SMART method. And so SMART is an acronym for the process of goal setting. Want to know what it is? Here we go. The S is make it specific. Sometimes when we set goals, we set them so broad that when it comes time to start putting in process, we don't really know where to start at. So we want to make sure that we are very, very specific and we drill down to exactly what it is that we want. The M, make it measurable. Hey, what good is a goal if we don't know what success looks like? That's what being measurable is all about. How many of us have ever said, hey, I want to save some money, but then we didn't set a goal for it. So how are you going to know when you've reached where you want to go? Hey, so we got to make it measurable. The A, we got to make sure it's attainable. One of the traps of goal setting is setting a goal that is so high, there's no way that we can do it. Because goals, sometimes they have to be time bound. Well, all the time, they have to be time bound. I'll talk about that in just a second. The R is that it has to be reasonable. So it has to be something that we can settle within ourselves, that we can put a process around, and we can honestly say, this is what I really want. And so you can reasonably know that if I put in the work, if I put the process in place, that I am able to achieve this. And then last, but certainly not least, I mentioned it a second ago, every goal that you set, it needs to be time bound. This is probably the single biggest trap that every one of us sets for ourselves when it comes to goal setting, is that we don't put a time to it. I learned a long time ago that a goal without a due date is simply a wish. So we have to put a time to it, but we need to put a reasonable time to it. So if you want to lose 150 pounds, well, that's probably not going to happen in 30 to 45 days. But you know what? If you give yourself a year and a half, that's much more attainable. So all of those elements together are what make up the model for effective goal setting.